Welcome to a very special segment of Student of the Gun Radio. And we teased you guys with this since during segment one. We've actually been teasing you with it for a couple of weeks now. But yes, we do have in the studio today the woman behind the man, the mystery woman, Mrs. Markle. A lot of you folks out there in the audience posted questions, and you said, hey, what does Mrs. Markle have to say about all this nonsense? So we're going to go ahead and sit her down in the glass case of emotion. That's right. And ask her. And I, your benevolent host, your beloved Professor Paul, I'm going to leave the studio, go away. I'm not even going to listen. Jared's going to interview Mrs. Markle there, get her answers to your questions. And I'm not even going to, this is what they're doing to me, folks. I can't even listen to the questions, or to the answers to the questions, that is, until the show is done and posted. Is that fair, Jared?
I think that is perfectly fair. What do you guys think out there?
Okay, they're all nodding.
They all said that's perfectly fair.
They all said that was a good idea?
They all said yes. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Oh, well, thanks for ganging up on me there, folks, for having my back. No, but seriously, we're looking forward to this. We promised it to you guys, and this idea materialized several months ago from one of our students said, hey, what does Mrs. Markle think? And then people just kind of jumped on it, and it snowballed. And so, all right, it's time to do it.
I had a little bit of leverage to get her in here. So, I'll let you know what that leverage was at a later date.
Yeah. So, all right, firearms-related talk. Now, last week when I mentioned the Serbian pistol, the 7.62 by 25 pistol from Century Arms, and I didn't have the specs in front of me, but it's the M57 Serbian, Zastava pistol, M57 from Serbia, and it's brought in by Century Arms. And I actually did get a chance to get out and shoot it since the last time I sat down behind the black carbon steel microphone. And let me tell you what, I was pretty impressed. It has a full-size frame, so you can get a good grip on it. And even though Tokarev-style pistols are notorious for biting the web of your hand, and I didn't end up with that strawberry on my hand. I spent about half the time I shot it barehanded, and the other half the time I shot it with gloves on. But the gun functioned just fine, no problem. I loaded it up with the Red Army standard 7.62 by 25 ammo. We were shooting steel silhouette. I was like, our little half silhouette deal that we'd like to take out to the range with us. You guys have seen it on TV. But we got all the way back to about 20, 25 yards, and we're dinging steel. Zach shot it. He was clanging the steel every time from about 15 yards. The sights, even though they're fixed sights, they're fixed irons, they were right on from the factory, so go team. The only problem you're going to have, or not really a problem, is finding holsters that are going to fit it. And I was digging around in my big box of holsters, and it's too thin for a 1911 holster. It's a little bit thin for a 1911 holster. But I did find a Yaki slide, and all of you old guys, you old-timers know what a Yaki slide is, for a high power. And I dropped it in there, and it seemed to fit pretty well. I think I might use that for my range time from now on. Or, what is your other option? You can get somebody that does custom Kydex and have them make you one. But the price on these guns is in the mid-250s. I think I was seeing them online for like $259. And brothers and sisters, that's a pretty dang good price for a serious pistol. Now, it's a single-column magazine. It holds 9 rounds of ammunition. But we didn't have any issues with it. The only I'll give that a quick caveat. When you load the gun up completely, like there are several firearms out there that if you stuff them completely loaded, that sometimes when you stuff the last round in there, the nose goes down. You need to give it a little tap to make sure the nose is up. And as long as I did that, I was able to load it on a closed slide and an open slide. So we had a lot of fun with that last weekend, getting out and shooting that pistol. Well, speaking of fun, we're going to have some fun with black rifles coming up really soon. I'm kind of anxious. I feel like a kid right before Christmas time, because all the pieces and parts for our black rifle project We have some in hand, and some are on their way, and we hope by December 1st to have all the parts so that yours truly can start assembling them and putting them together. Jared's going to sit down with me, actually, and assemble these 2 rifles. And
this will be actually my first complete build that I've ever done.
Hey, there you go.
From the ground up. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, we're going to build, because we're Americans, because we're free people, we're going to assemble 2 black AR-15 style rifles. And the heart of the guns is going to be a velocity trigger. We got 2 velocity triggers right now that are waiting to be installed in our strip lowers from Element Arms. We talked about it already. We've got the stocks from Luth and the parts from Brownells and what have you. So that's something that's coming up in the very, very near future. Obviously, we're going to talk about it on the radio, but we're going to film it. We're going to put it on the TV show. Don't forget to follow our buddy SWAT Fuel at swatfuel.com. You're like, follow him? Well, yeah, what the heck. Follow him on social media, whatever you want to do. Our buddy Dr. Dan is coming in this week, and we're going to get some hey, you want to go ahead and set the, Jared, it'd be stupid of us having Dr. Dan in here and not putting him in the glass cave of motion.
Yeah, of course we're going to do that.
Of course we're going to do that. So when you go to SWAT Fuel to make a purchase, make sure you use the Student of the Gun special promo code. That's SOTG2014. You should know it by now. And what do you know? You're going to get 20% off your total order. Make sure that you're supporting all of our friends. Support the people that support us. Brownells, SWAT Fuel, Colt, Excess Sights, and so forth. Now, we're going to get to the good guy of the week. We're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about the Remington layoffs, thanks to the SAFE Act. We're going to do all that stuff. But before we do that, Jared, you want to go ahead and do the Mrs. Markle interview, and then we'll get into the meat of it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and put Mom in here for a little bit.
Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to step out. Jared's going to go ahead and put that in, and then I'll come back, and we'll get into the rest of the show.
And what I'm going to do is, we've got so many questions, we can't really answer them all in this segment. So what we're going to do is we're going to put half in this segment, which is coming up right now, and then we're going to put the other half in the bonus hour / grad program. If you guys listened to the first hour, we're changing the bonus hour into the grad program. And all of you guys that are already subscribed to the bonus hour will be automatically rolled over to the grad program. And Dad, kind of give them a little bullet point overview of what they're going to get from the grad program.
Oh, okay. Before I step out of the glass case of emotion and turn it over to Mrs. Markle. The grad program, like we said, if you're already signed up for the bonus hour, good on you. We're just going to automatically upgrade you to the grad program. So the grad program is going to include, and this is a subscriber thing, this is not for casual people. This is for dedicated, serious students of the gun. But the Student of the Gun grad program, every week you're going to get the bonus hour of radio, which is the big boy time. And it'll be delivered directly into your inbox, and you can download it and listen to it on whatever device you feel like listening to it with. In addition to that, you're going to get the monthly newsletter, The Tactical Tutor, and that's going to be chock full of gun-related, whether it's tactics, mindset, talking about particular guns, what have you. You're going to get that in your inbox once a month.
Go ahead and what's this one, the one that I'm going to send out for the bonus hour this week?
Are you going to put
the
me
grad
on the spot
program
and make
this
me
week?
remember what I wrote?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either. That's why I asked you.
Oh, we talked about alternative use of force and paying attention. We actually had a listener to the show contact us and tell us about a story, a real-life incident that happened to them. And it was, and I'm not going to spoil it, but essentially it was a situation where somebody was out in public. They saw somebody they'd had a previous altercation with, and it escalated. And now the person in question is having to prove that they were the good guy, not the aggressor. And so we talk about alternate uses of force. We talk about situational awareness as it applies to this certain situation. So that's going to be in the Tactical Tutor this month. And, of course, Jared, he's gonna fill it with links, and it's going to be electronic. No, we're not going to put a stamp on it and mail it to you. It's going to be electronic. It's going to come in your inbox, but you'll be able to not only access all the new information that's available only to the grad program people, but the hyperlinks and all that jazz. In addition to those things that I just spoke about, people in the grad program will get exclusive offers for online products, which we're expanding, and we're really going to be expanding them throughout 2015. through discounts on live training. And again, we mentioned to you guys during the first hour that we're actually in the process right now of, in addition to doing stuff here at the Student of the Gun University, we're going to be doing some on-the-road, some mobile training classes. And also, if that wasn't enough, you, by being a subscriber to the grad program, are going to be automatically entered into our special giveaways and prizes and what have you. And we partnered with one of our TV show sponsors, and we've got a concealed carry pistol that's going to be partnered with a laser. And I haven't gotten up with Trent at Crossbreed Holsters yet to see if we can get a holster for that. But if we can, that'll come with it. And all you have to do to be eligible for the special prize and giveaways. Look, you guys are supporting us. We're going to support you. That's the way it is. And we're going to support you by giving you as much as we can without bankrupting ourselves. Right, Jared?
Yeah, without doing that, because then we can't give them anything.
So, all right, without any further ado, Jared, you go ahead and take it over, and I'll step out.
All right, as you guys know, we have a very special guest this week, and I want her to go ahead and introduce herself now.
Hi, I am the elusive Mrs. Markle. I am the brains behind the brawn that you hear every week here on this show.
All right, our first question comes from Jared Lojek, and he says, did your opinion about gun ownership /carry/use, that's a lot of slashes, change in the course of your relationship with Professor Paul? That's part one of his question.
Part one. Yes, because before I met him, I actually had no opinion of it. It was just a part of our life as kids because my dad hunted, but as far as actually owning it to shoot for pleasure, we didn't do that.
Part two is how, which you already answered, and was it a difficult adjustment?
A difficult adjustment would be, I guess, feeling safe around them. That I wasn't going to shoot my foot off when I was trying to learn how to shoot myself.
She watched The Christmas Story too much.
That was shoot your eye out.
Shoot your eye out. Okay, the next question is Kyle Katmier. Sorry if I said that wrong. It says, tough to compare, but I'd be interested in how a woman's situational awareness differs from a man's. What sets off a woman's radar compared to a man's? So basically, what sets off your radar as a woman?
A lot. Probably a lot more than a man because I'm smaller, obviously, and I have less physical power than a man would.
The mental power is insane.
That's right. So I have to be, I think, a lot more aware of a larger area of my surroundings, not just my immediate surroundings, but what's 20 feet out and 30 feet out versus what's 5 feet out.
Is that it for that question?
Why are you laughing at me?
No, because the next question.
Okay.
Okay, the next question is from Brett Barker. And if you guys didn't know this, everybody, we asked the people on Facebook, our followers on Facebook.com/Student of the Gun, we asked them to post some questions. And so that's where they're posting these. Brett Barker says, was it difficult to teach Paul to shoot?
You know, he's a tough study because he's so serious. And, of course, he thinks that everything he does is right. It was a little hard to get him to understand that he's wrong sometimes.
That's funny.
Just kidding. He shoots very well.
Mike Harrelson says, how does she live with Paul Markle all these years?
Well, I tell the kids that I was drugged when I married him, and I didn't know what I was doing. He yells at me for that. But a lot of humor, and I have this great gift from God where I can tune out anything around me. That saves us sometimes.
That's funny. Nick Brecalo says, what are some mercy half measures you would use on Professor Paul?
Oh, there aren't any.
No half measures?
No.
None?
Mm-mm.
Lori Iverson. Shane is a good friend of Dad's.
Hi, Lori Iverson.
She says, from my husband, Shane Iverson, a dear friend of your husband. Behind every great man is an amazing woman. Your thoughts?
That is so true because I am his rock. And he knows that. So when it's something really big and really important in his life, he looks to me to make sure he's making the right choice. And of course, I'm there to say, honey, that's great, or you might not want to do that today. So yeah, every man needs an amazing woman, and I'm pretty amazing.
I agree.
Thank you.
She is definitely an amazing woman. Chris Dubois says, pants. Who really wears them?
Oh, now, if I said me, he might chop my head off while I was sleeping. So I'll say he wears one leg and I wear the other.
Oh, that's funny. This isn't a question from Chris or anybody on the Facebook thread, but they want to know what pocket you keep them in your purse. I got that in an email.
The smallest one. Just kidding. The really big pocket.
We'll move on to the next question. This one just came in. It says, it's from Joshua Pizzulo, and he says, I'm curious if she's into shooting as much as the men in her life, and how does she feel about Paul's profession?
Well, Joshua, I like to shoot. Of course, being Paul's wife, he can't teach me anything. You know how wives are. We can't learn from our husbands. They don't know anything. They take out the trash. They leave the toilet seat up. So I do like to shoot a lot. And I'm very happy for him that he does this, because he's not the kind of person that can just go work in a factory because he needs a paycheck. He has to do what he enjoys. And for all these years that I've known him, he's always said, if I could just get somebody to pay me to talk. And talking, he talks a lot.
He does that very well.
A lot. Yeah, so if he can make his living talking and writing and shooting, it's perfect. It's the perfect life for him. And on top of that, he has the perfect wife. So he has a great little life going.
That's funny. He's got the perfect wife. I think that's it for the questions from our listeners. Is there anything that you want to tell? Any stories?
Man, I could tell some stories on that poor man, and he's not here to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, I if you guys didn't know, he is not even in the room, I don't think.
No,
yeah, he's not in the room.
In the other room. So one time, I had fed the dogs, and he's going to kill me for telling this story, but I have to tell it.
Oh, the Cocoa Puff.
I'd fed the dogs, but I put the dog bowl on the table and filled it, and a piece of dog food had fallen out, and I didn't see it. So he gets up in his groggy little world before he's ever had any coffee, and he finds a Cocoa Puff on the table. And he pops it in his mouth, and he's chewing it, and all of a sudden he's spitting it out all over the place and screaming about who left dog food on the table. Well, you know, it's his own fault, because who picks up stuff they don't even know what it is off the table and pops it in their mouth before they've had coffee? So, yeah, he's going to kill me when he hears it. I told you all that.
Maybe he won't hear it. I don't know. No, he doesn't get the bonus hour.
Are you kidding me? He's going to listen to himself, and you know it.
No, but he really doesn't get the bonus hour. His email's not on the list.
Oh, haha. Maybe he won't hear that.
Oh, that's funny. Maybe I'll stick that in the second hour. Huh.
You could.
Yeah. Do you want him to hear that?
Heck yeah. Just make sure I'm not anywhere near him when he does hear it.
I don't know where he's going to. He'll probably listen to the stuff in solitary confinement so he can put together his reaction before he sees anybody else.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have any other stories?
Do you want me to tell stories on him? Because I can tell some stories.
Yeah, I would like you to tell some stories.
Okay.
All right, we're going to... That'll be it for this. We're going to do some more in the bonus hour. So I'm going to cut it right there, and we're going to go on with a few more questions. But I'm going to put those specifically in the bonus hour, which is actually going to be transformed into the grad program this week. So if you can hear my voice, it is now the grad program. And you guys, if you listen to the first hour, you kind of got an idea of what you get in that. And if you're already subscribed to the bonus hour, you're just going to be automatically rolled over to the grad program. So stay tuned for more questions from Mrs. Markle. Mom is actually getting up and leaving the glass case of emotion as I speak, and Dad's going to come back in now. And as you guys know, he's not going to hear any of the conversation that Mom and I had until you guys can hear it. And she kept it pretty bare bones, so there won't be too much surprise in his face, I don't think. All right, here he is. He's sitting down right now.
All right, I'm back, hippies.
Is this microphone on?
I don't know. Is this on? Is this thing on?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. All right, you folks. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that Mrs. Markle enjoyed doing it, and we hope that you appreciate her taking the time out of her busy day to come in and talk with you folks. And like Jared said, there was way too much to put in this episode. Otherwise, it would have just been the introduction and then her and then the outro, which wouldn't necessarily be such a bad thing. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. And one of the things we're going to talk about is Remington layoffs. And you're like, Remington layoffs? Well, didn't they just have a banner year? I mean, aren't we just coming off of 2012-13 with record sales? Like across the board, everybody's got record sales? Well, yes. But not everything is all roses. And Jared, why don't you go ahead and cue up the audio? There's a news report from New York. It's like local 12 or 13 or 7 or whatever. But there's a news report here that goes along with this. We're going to listen to the audio of what's going on up there in the People's Republic of New York. Now, the Remington plant obviously is not in New York City, but it is in the state of New York. That means it is affected by the communist dictatorship led by Emperor Kumo. Or Comrade Kumo, what should I say? Comrade Kumo. So, Jared, go ahead and cue that up, and then we'll talk about it. So
Can I make a quick...
Okay, go ahead and make a quick...
I just want to make a quick technical observation.
Yeah, go ahead.
I cannot stand when people don't do stereo audio. I just had to listen to that, and it was all in one ear. What is wrong with these people?
Well, we can't help it. We cannot control their audio. This is from... What is this from? Oh, it's from CNYCentral.com. This is your CBS Channel 3, 5, and 6 combined. They combined all the news channels into this CNYCentral.com news story here. But yeah, another 126 layoffs from Remington Arms Plant in Ilion. And you say, well, 126 people, no big deal. 126 people plus 105 people, you do the math. So a couple of hundred plus, just shy of 300, 350, or what, let me see, 230-some people. Now, that's 230-some people, but it affects 230-plus households in Ilion, New York. Now, if you live in small to medium-size America, and there's whether it's a Rubbermaid factory or a jelly factory or a tire factory or whatever, and 200 or 300 people at that factory in a plant or in a town that has, let's say, 20,000 people or 10,000 people, and 300 families lose their jobs. Or how does that affect the community? Well, obviously, it affects the community greatly. And you say, well, that happens all the time. Yes, it does happen all the time. It happens when industries change. I mean, hey, there were plants and manufacturing facilities that made VHS tapes. Now, they don't make VHS tapes, right? Buggy whips, things of that nature. But we're not talking about natural market forces. Remington's not in trouble because of natural market forces in this case. They're in trouble because of the legislation that was forced upon them by the government. And you say, well, they make other things that aren't banned. Yeah, I understand they make other things that aren't banned. But when you, through judicial fiat or legislative fiat, decide that you're just going to make the product that was legal yesterday illegal today, well, what do? Well, the people that made that product, that perfectly legal product, the product that was perfectly legal yesterday, and then you signed a bill, and then tomorrow it's illegal. Well, what happens to the people that make those things? Well, a lot of times they lose their jobs. And that's what's going on up there in New York right now. And, the first girl, she had it right. She put her finger on it. She said, this community needs Remington, but they're suffering because of the SAFE Act and the laws and what have you. Why should a manufacturer remain in a state whose government is openly hostile towards that manufacturer? Well, we want your tax money. Do you think, hey Jared, do you think Remington pays taxes to the state of New York?
I would assume a pretty hefty amount of taxes.
Do you think the employees at Remington pay taxes to the state of New York?
Definitely.
So the state of New York is perfectly happy to take the tax money from the company, from the employees, from the vendors, from the guys that come and take out the trash at Remington, the people that fix the the electric and the plumbing and the vendors and what have you. They're perfectly willing to tax all of those people, but they don't like their evil, nasty products. We don't like your evil, nasty guns because we have to do something about gun violence. So, a lot of people, when this story went up, got on social media and they started posting comments about, they need to move and they need to go here. I think the die has really been cast. I think that Remington, and what's sad is it went on in the story to say that Remington is getting ready to celebrate their bicentennial anniversary at the plant there in Ilion. They've been there that long. They're one of the oldest firearms manufacturers in the United States of America, going back 200 years now. And because of the hostile New York government, essentially what you've got Buffalo, and then you have New York City, the greater New York City area, which is filled with stupid rats. And that's why Cuomo is still the emperor. Comrade Cuomo is still in charge of New York, because all he really has to do is get the votes of the rats in these urban population centers to keep his job. That's basically how we get presidents that are communists. They get the votes from these dense population centers. But I pretty much believe by this time next year that Remington will have closed its doors in Ilion. I would be extremely surprised if that is not the case. They're probably not going to fire everybody all at once. But they are laying people off, and eventually they're just going to it's not going to be financially viable for them to remain there anymore. And they're not going to do it just because it's the right thing to do or because it's nice. You can't run businesses on good feelings. You have to run businesses from a fiscal standpoint. And to be fair to Comrade Cuomo, part of Remington's problem isn't just the Bushmasters and the SAFE Act. They had the issue with the R51 pistol that kind of like blew up in their face. They got all excited. They introduced a new product, and they put the cart before the horse. The guns weren't ready for prime time, and then they had to recall them. So that kind of puts egg on their face. And then with all this other jazz going with the Bushmasters and what have you, it doesn't make for a good mix. So what I believe they're probably going to relocate either to North Carolina or where's the other plant? They just opened another place, Alabama. Yeah. So I would assume that by this time next year, the Ilion plant in New York will be gone. It'll be maybe Cuomo can turn it into a skateboard park or something, or a wildlife preserve, or I don't know. If I was Remington, if I was in charge of Remington, I would have already told them to stick it. I would have closed the plant, took all those jobs, went somewhere else, and looked at the voters and said, you know what, this is what you get when you allow communists to take seats in your government. So, Tango Sierra, brother.
There are some states that are giving tax breaks to businesses that move from slave states to.
Yeah, there are a lot of states
and
that are doing
I think that you would
Texas is
probably
one.
save some money as a business if you could probably relocate your employees with you and
Well,
still save money on the taxes.
That's something that a lot of these factories have done. They've offered, like for instance, the deal with AAC. They offered some of them jobs at the new facility in Alabama. But I'm waiting for Smith & Wesson to get the clue. Smith & Wesson is deep in the heart of communist Massachusetts, and half of the products, probably close to half the products that Smith & Wesson manufactures are illegal to own unless you're a member of the state. Unless you're a state employee, member of the commissar, then you can own them in Massachusetts. But the slaves in Massachusetts cannot own probably 50% of the guns that they manufacture up there. So I'm kind of waiting for them to get the clue and to move out of Massachusetts. So it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. But, folks, that's what happens when you decide that you want to take the reasonable path. You are reasonable, and your enemy uses that as a sign of weakness to destroy you. End of story.
We're coming up on about 30 minutes now. Let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, let's
to the
move on
good
to
guy.
the excess good guy of the week.
All right, this week's good guy is M. Krieger32 from the forum, and he posted that at forums.studentofthegun.com. M. Krieger, I'm guessing it's probably Mark or Mike. I need you
Don't
to send
assume.
me- well, you know what they say about assume, right?
That's right. You and me.
Yep. All right, Mark or M. Krieger, I'm going to need you to send me, that's Jared, Jarr80, at studentofthegun.com. Send me your address, your shirt size, your phone number, and if you can include your email typed in there for me, that'd be great. M. Krieger says, my 17-year-old daughter recently started working. Congratulations. Some nights she may be working until 12 o'clock or later. My question is, what type of defensive items and classes would you recommend? With all the options of pepper spray, I wouldn't know where to start to ensure that she has the best one that would be able to ward off any bad critters. That's including animals. Also, would you recommend? Do you want to answer that one and then go to the second one, or do you just want me to read it all?
No, just go ahead and read it all. I'll answer it together.
All right. He says, also, would you recommend a flashlight such as a Surefire Defender in case someone would get in close enough for that type of defense?
Well, absolutely. You guys should know by now, if your listeners a student of the gun, that we have a class called Force Options, and it's other than a gun, because not every problem you encounter is going to be a gun problem. And unfortunately, when you have someone who's 16, 17, 18 years old, and it's not lawful for them to carry or possess a firearm on them, what can they do? And you don't want them to just throw up their hands and, leave themselves at the mercy of the predators. So pepper spray. I could probably go on for half an hour about pepper spray, but I'll tell you this. Buy whatever it is that the police use. The other stuff is crap. It's garbage. Do not buy pepper spray or oleoresin capsicum, OC products off the spindle rack at the gas station or what have you. That is junk. If you're going to buy pepper spray, either go on to Amazon and buy it there. But if you have a local police supply store, like where we are, we have a place called Barney's Police Supply, and they sell OC to cops, and you can go there and buy it. Unless you live in like a total slave state. Now, there are some slave states that restrict the slaves, the peasants' ability to own defensive products, New York, Massachusetts, and so forth. But generally, if you live in free America, you can carry whatever flavor that the local police department uses. And you're like, well, why would I want to do that? Well, because the local police departments and the cops, they know whether something works because they actually use it. And if it doesn't work, they stop buying it. So Fox is our A number one go-to. Unfortunately, Fox doesn't make a very good compact concealable unit. They have the 2 and 3 ounce ones, which are fantastic for putting the hate on bad guys. But I haven't seen a Fox product, a compact Fox product, that was really worth a darn, unfortunately. What's the one I have? I can't remember, like Mark III. What's the other one, Jared? There's Fox, and what do we spray Zachary with? What do we spray him with?
I think that was the Guardian.
The Guardian. Yeah, Guardian. Thank you for reminding me. Guardian products, Fox products. I would stay away from the blend products, the CN and Mace and da-da-da, all blended with pepper spray. It's crap. You don't need all that other jazz. It's new and improved Tide garbage. You don't need to water down your OC with CS or Mace or CN or any other stupid stuff. They do that crap to make you think that it's better, but it's really not. This is 17 going on 20 years. Dude, what year is this?
2014.
You know when I became an OC instructor? 94.
94. 10 years.
So
20. Wow.
20 years ago.
I can't
yeah,
math
so
today.
this is 2 decades of experience and literally hundreds of humans and animals sprayed with pepper spray. So don't get all tripped up in this, blended with blah, blah, blah. Just buy pepper spray. Buy whatever it is the cops use. Fox is top of our list. Guardian is very high on the top of our list. Now, flashlights, you say, well, if they get close enough for that type of defense, well, the great thing about a flashlight is you can extend that beam out very, very far and shine it in people's faces before they can actually have the opportunity to touch you. In the dark, the person with the flashlight is what, Jared?
An authoritative figure.
In control, that's right.
Control.
The person with the flashlight is the person in charge. If you're using a bright light to navigate your way from the business you work to your car, you don't look like a good potential victim. You look like somebody that's in charge. And the problem that people run into is that they have this, well, I don't want to seem paranoid or crazy, so I'm not going to actually turn the flashlight on. Turn the flashlight on and use it. Put it in your hand. And with women, daughters, wives, they have this tendency to do what? Dads and brothers and husbands. They have this tendency, you give them something and they throw it in their purse, and now it's at the bottom of their purse. And you're just going to have to hammer on them and say, look, do that, the gut check thing. Say, where's your flashlight? Or walk up to them and say, get your flashlight right now. Hang on, I got to dig in the bottom. No, unacceptable. If you can't put your hands on it in 2 seconds, it's useless. Same thing with the pepper spray. If they can't put their hands on it in 2 seconds, it's useless. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is the keychain deals are crap. Don't buy them. Don't waste your money. It's garbage. Number one, the container is too small to hold enough pressure and enough product to really do any good. And number two, and this is a big one, is from a psychological standpoint, you buy these things for women, they put them on their key ring, and they forget about them. It just becomes another thing hanging off of their keys. As far am I telling you not to take a ring of keys and smack somebody in the chops with it if you need to? No, I'm not telling you that. But here's what I'm going to tell you: is women will do that. They'll put these little silly keychain sized pepper sprays on their keys, and they just forget about it. 6 months later, a year later, it's just another thing hanging on their keys. It's not a defensive tool. So, dads out there, if you're going to give your daughter something, my daughter, she's got all the stuff, and every once in a while, I'll quiz her. I'll do you have your pepper spray? Yes. You have your flashlight? Yes. Does it work? Are you sure? Yes. Do you have your PLS, your pocket life-saving kit? Yes, I do. Okay. So that's dads. That's what I would tell you. And then also the last thing I'll say is, if your kids if they actually listen to you still, you have to sit down with them and you have to ask them, whose responsibility is it to keep you safe? And they're like, well, what do you mean? And the answer, and it's a rhetorical question, Woodcock, but the answer is it's your responsibility. Because some of these kids will get jobs and they'll go there and they'll say, well, the company employee manual says that we're forbidden to have any type of weapon or tool and pepper spray and knives, and that's all forbidden. Okay, great. Do they issue you a bodyguard when you get to work every day? Does security escort you everywhere you need to go to and from home? No. Whose responsibility is it? It's yours. Okay. Jared, how are we doing on time? And that's a good question, Krieger.
Well, yeah, I like that question. And as Dad said, we offer a class called Force Options that goes over what you can use that's between your empty hands and a gun. And the last couple classes that we had here at the university, I got audio from some of our students telling us what they thought of the class. I'm going to go ahead and play a couple of those for you right now.
Hello, my name is Christopher Rush. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I just finished the class Force Options with Student of the Gun. What inspired me to take this class is my desire to further my education and to bring my skills back up. I've taken classes in the past, and I feel that I need to take more classes and constantly start from the basics and learn more again and again. Training with Student of the Gun, after listening to their radio show for a while, I felt I just wanted to come and meet them, and I liked their teaching style and their opinions on their point of views. My favorite part of this class was some of the mock scenarios that we did so that we can actually get real hands-on and experience. Something I didn't know before I came here was a lot of the more knowledge about the OC and the difference between pepper spray and the difference between tasers and stun guns.
Hey, my name is Nick from Orlando, Florida, and I just took the Force Options class with a Student of the Gun here in Biloxi. So the instruction I received throughout this class was very thorough, presented me with mindsets and scenarios that I wouldn't have thought out on my own. The opportunity to walk through scenarios before they're real life, so I have a better idea of how to respond when it actually goes down. I would recommend this course, honestly, to anyone who's going to carry every day. There's a big gap between all or nothing, and there's nobody out there who couldn't benefit from either a refresher or an initial glimpse at what's in between on how to escalate force appropriately to keep yourself clean and clear.
I am Kent Ward. I'm from Nixa, Missouri, and I just took the Force Options More Than Just a Gun class. I have had a lot of training in different areas, different types of security and different types of defensive throughout the years. Student Gun is set apart because there's the tension of learning, but there's also the laughter while learning. There's not criticizing of the students, but there is educating the students. I would highly recommend this class to anybody who wants to have an education. I would highly recommend this class to anybody who wants to be smarter when they get out. I would highly recommend this class to anybody, period.
And that's that, I guess. Those are actually some very humbling testimonials from our students, and I really appreciate them giving us the opportunity to do that. And let's move on to the next story now.
Okay, this is some good news. It comes to us from Dallas, and the source is crimeblog.dallasnews.com. And the story is dated October 31st, but we got this in the email box a few days ago, maybe a week ago, and I wanted to drop it into the show notes. Dallas officer used tourniquet to save man's life after he was shot late Thursday in Pleasant Grove, police say. And Go Team essentially says that last year they started training Dallas DPD guys on how to use tourniquets. We're assuming that it's a cat. We don't know for sure, but if I was a betting man, nope, it's not a cat. It's a soft T. There's a picture of one sitting on a cruiser. Regardless, cat, soft T, rats, whatever. Get some knowledge, get some experience, get some training, and get yourself a tourniquet. If you have a range bag, a field pack, and right now, as I'm sitting here in the glass case of motion, I have a pocket lifesaver in my pocket, and it has a rat's tourniquet and various other implements of destruction. Well, not destruction, of repair in it. There's no reason not to. Stop listening to the bologna sausage and the nonsense from the people that don't know what they're talking about. And we had the Washington case that we reported on, a couple of weeks ago, D.C., where those guys used an improvised tourniquet, but it took two of them to actually make it work because they didn't have a real tourniquet on them. And then you got Dallas, who is progressive enough. And Go Team, I'm very proud of them for not only taking the time, but teaching these guys how to do this. And again, folks, this is one of the benefits that we're reaping from the global war on terror, is we're teaching people how to save lives in the field while you're waiting for the ambulance to show up. Because if you have an open artery and the ambulance is 5 minutes away and you don't do anything about that open artery, that person's going to be dead by the time the ambulance gets there. So Go Team, good job to the DPD guys, and good job to Dallas Police Department for not only training their officers, but giving them the equipment that they need to save somebody's life as well. So we think that's fantastic. There's a story in here about the Boko Haram. We're going to go ahead and throw that in the bonus hour because I don't have time to rant about that right now. But you guys remember the hashtag campaign that the dipsticks up there in Washington, D.C. did here, about a month or two ago? The Bring Our Girls Home or whatever nonsense that was. And apparently hashtag campaigns don't really stop terrorists. I know you're sitting out there with that look of surprise on your face. You're like, what? You mean Twitter campaigns don't stop terrorists? I'm shocked. Folks, we are going to progress into the bonus hour. So into the bonus hour, we're going to talk about a Go Team moment where a homeowner defends himself against 3 invaders. We got a Merry Old England update. We have actually there's so much silliness coming to us from Merry Old England that we decided to come up with its own unique update theme. We got a vagination report for you. We got a story about Boko Haram. And then we really need to spend some time talking again about New York. And there's a new plot in New York to do gun control without legislation, and we're going to tell you about that. So if you are a bonus hour subscriber and soon to be a grad program subscriber, you can get into that. And Jared, you're going to give anybody who subscribes to the grad program or the bonus hour this month, you're going to send them the November newsletter. Is that correct?
Yes, the November newsletter will be sent out on Monday, November 17th, and it will be available for you to receive. Once you receive it, you can have it forever. Mm-hmm. But it'll only you'll only be able to receive it from the 17th to the 24th until I send out the next update.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Don't forget about Student of the Gun TV every Monday night at 9 Eastern on Dish Network Channel 262. And if you don't have Dish Network, that's cool. 266. Thank you for correcting me. If you don't have that, you can check us out on Roku TV, Apple TV, Chromecast TV. And don't forget, we've got the Patriot Fire Team book that's coming up. It's available right now in ebook format in pre-sale. And it's going to be released in December, so you want to make sure you're checking that out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for yet again another adventure in Student of Gun Radio. Remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.